Well, I don't see the point in waiting any longer, so let's bring her out. The star attraction, the one you came to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Miss Judy Gold.
Okay, you get to New York.
Yeah.
Where are you working?
The last place I got in was the one closest to my house. I lived on the Upper East Side, and I couldn't get into the Strip to save my
Why?
life. Lucian said to me,
Yeah.
and I quote, "I have enough short white guys from Boston," and that was
Okay,
and he
I'll
did.
tell you what he said to me when I think I was 18 or 19. And I went in and he goes, you're tall, you're Jewish, you're female. I don't know what kind of market there is for Jewish female comedians. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck is that? Joan Rivers.
Yeah.
It was like Carol Leifer, Rita Rudner. I mean, it was Elaine Booser. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh. Ba-ba-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
He was out of his mind. But then once you pass there, you're like, oh, I love him.
That's exactly what it was for me. I hated the guy for a while.
Yeah.
And then finally, and my little story there is that I sent out cassettes, literally cassette tapes to Dangerfield, Carson, and Carlin. I had found a book called Stars of the Addresses. So I literally sent them out. Never heard from Dangerfield, never heard from Carson, and I'm guessing I never will. But I did get a call from Carlin years later. And this is back when your answering machine had the little micro cassettes.
Yeah.
So thank God I wasn't home because he left me a really nice message.
No way. Did you
that's
save
on
it?
my website. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
It was on my website. I still have it. And he said, if ever, thanks for sending me the tape. It was a lot of fun because it wasn't just me. It was other stuff. And he said, if I can ever do anything, let me know. And so I called him years later and said, George, you were very kind to get back to me. You didn't have to do that.
Right.
Thank you so much. I'm an open micer. That was very cool of you. There's a big picture of you with your arms around Lucian Hold, who manages the comic strip, and he holds you in high regard, and I can't get in there. So if ever you could.
Right.
And I left him that message in the afternoon, and that night he called me back, and he said, you're on tonight at 10.
No fucking
Don't
way.
drop the ball. I swear to God, that's what he said. And this time I answered the phone, and Kerry knew it was him because my jaw dropped, and I was just, speechless.
What
and
a
then I went,
fucking great guy he was.
And he got me in there, and I could have read the phone book, and Lucian would have passed me at that point anyway.
Of course.
But that was definitely what got me into that club. So.
Right. Okay, so when do you and Kerry decide to get married?
Well, we dated for a long time. We dated for 5 years or something, and then we had a breakup in between. And
what'd you do during the breakup?
Missed her.
Oh,
I really did. She says in
decided?
her act that I kept running into him in the strangest places, like his bedroom, which is true. We just kept, we'd go to comedy clubs and we'd see each other and be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Who broke up with who?
Well, I felt like she painted me into a corner. She said, "Play me or trade me," which she had every right to do. We weren't getting any younger, and I was lollygagging, but I didn't. Judy, you know how it is when you're a comic. You don't know where your next paycheck's going to come from.
Oh, it's horrible, yeah.
And I didn't want to, start a marriage. And she was very wide-eyed, and, she said, we're going to make it. It's going to be fine.
We're going to make it. Yeah.
So I finally said, I'm going to lose her if I don't slap a ring on her. So
she had moved out, you're saying?
I technically had moved out, but we kept, now we're paying 2 rents and we're still together all the time. And so finally I said, this is ridiculous. And she said, yeah, I've been telling you that. So we've been married 17 years, 18 in June.
Wow.
So, yeah, but together more than that. Together,
since
almost
94.
23.
Yeah. So when I just curious, you're, as a guy comic.
6 inches.
Oh, I thought,
Irish.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, I thought, like, what did guy, you're married to a comic.
Mm-hmm.
What are the guy comic, like, are they like, come on, Tom, you can fucking do like on the road? Like, I know so many guy comics who cheated on the road, Were they like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, because there's so many still bachelor comics who are like in their 40s, 50s. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Yeah,
and that's unfortunate, I think, for them.
Right, I do too.
But I'm not throwing stones. It's just their choice. Rogan and I were really tight back when we started because we were like banned from all these clubs together, and no one wanted to work with us. So that bonded us. And he called and left me a message. And again, I wasn't there to take the call, so we have it. And he basically chewed me out, saying, because he knew Kerry from Boston, and he said, "Dude, you're a fucking idiot. Never date anyone with a headshot, and you definitely don't marry anyone with a headshot."
Right.
Now, he has since married a woman who I believe is in the arts, has a headshot. But anyway, at the time, he was like, "What are you doing? They're all nutcases, but actresses and comedians are specifically nutcases, and you're asking for a lifetime of misery." And we like to every year on our anniversary, we're like, Rogan was wrong. So, but I love Joe, and he was just looking out for his friend, I suppose. But a lot of comics gave me crap about that. Most comics, as you know, marry civilians because they want the 401k and the health insurance and the dental.
And they don't need the competition. But you married a fucking, what is that like?
There's not many of us out there.
I know.
Yeah. So Ducharme and Bernadette Pauly. It's Voss and Bonnie. And there's a few others. Some have tried and it has not worked
Voss
out. But he is. And she is by insertion. And so... It's sometimes it's tough, but
Okay, so what happens when one of you gets something, and all right, we all go through lulls, ebbs and flows.
Yes.
Okay, so what happens when one, say you're in a flow and she's in an ebb?
The first ones were her flow, my ebb. She got Montreal before she got Aspen before I got Aspen, and I went with her, and I was, caddied for her, if you will.
Did you hate that?
It's tough. It's emasculating. It really is. But I also learned early on that she is... I'm not competing against her. If they're looking for a funny female, they're certainly not looking for me. And if they're looking for a funny dude, they're not looking for her. And the money all goes to the same bank account, and we can rising tide lifts all boats. However, it is emasculating. She also went further than I did on Last Comic Standing, and don't think I don't hear about that every time we have an argument.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Did you go on together?
We were the novelty backstory was that we were the married comedy couple on the show. Yeah.
How hard is it to do? First of all, I hate comedy competitions.
So do I.
I think they're ridiculous. It's such a subjective art form.
And how is Jim Carrey, who's physical, better than Stephen Wright, who's a monologist? I mean, those are apples and oranges. So,
excellent example.
So anyway, I agree with you on that. So she got first taste of success, and I was, but then Esty was using me at the cellar, and she would call to give me my spots, and Kerry would answer the phone, and then it would be depression the rest of the night because she was like, why am I not in that club? So we had those struggles, but we seem to have overcome those.
When did you have your first child?
2001, we had the twins.
Right.
No, 2001, we got married. 2002, we had the twins. We conceived them in 2001. But we had twins. We had, right out of the gate, too. Right. And then Tommy was 2007. Okay,
so you have twins. It's 2002. Not the best time for stand-up.
No.
I mean, after September 11th was fucking hell.
Yeah.
I mean, we had to throw out so many jokes. You couldn't say anything bad about George W. Bush.
No.
I mean, it was horrible. Did you have a big wedding, by the way?
300 people. Pretty
Thanks
big.
for inviting me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you have these kids, and it's really now the roles are different, right?
Yeah.
Because even though you were equal at some point, now it's like, who the fuck is gonna stay home with these kids? How did you work that out?
Let me just say, first of all, your wedding was spectacular. Oh, that's right. I wasn't invited.
I didn't have one.
Okay.
Okay, go.
So she has, like many women have, she kind of put her career a little bit on the back burner to raise the kids, and to her credit. And I will say this because, and not just because I'm doing your podcast, that's not me.
No, that's my dentist not getting it. Go ahead.
Nice guy, though.
It's a woman.
Oh, nice girl.
Not Jewish.
Okay.
She's African American. All right, go ahead.
So she chose to, stay home. She had to raise the kids. And at the time, I was doing okay. I had kind of diversified direct. So I was doing some commercial work, voiceover, great face for TV, so for radio rather. So I did that, and I was doing colleges and some other stuff. So I was able to earn some money, but I was away a lot. And she really did a lot of the heavy lifting with two toddler kids.
I mean, that's fucking hell.
And she
Tom.
was in hell, yeah. And we moved when she was 9 months pregnant to our place in Harlem, which we had for 5 years. And then we moved to the Burbs when she was 9 months pregnant with Tommy. So the timing was horrible.
Where did you have the twins?
At Beth Israel.
No, but where did you live?
We lived on the Upper East Side. 6th floor walk up.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I
That
know.
is awful for her.
That's
I
why
can't
we
wait
bought
till
the
she's
place
on.
in Harlem, which had an elevator.
You bought a whole place in Harlem?
We bought a
you
co-op. Yeah.
Right. And
They
how
made
come
it-
you left Harlem? It's so fucking great now.
We loved it, and we kick ourselves because when did we sell? 2007.
Okay, you're an asshole.
Yeah, I know I am, but we had to get out of the hell out of Dodge. We were pregnant with our third kid.
How big was the apartment?
3-bedroom, 2-bath.
Fuck you.
And they were really good. It was a brand new building. We were the first
You
inhabitants.
suck cock.
We bought
Where
it on
was it?
paper, and they were giving it away to
Right.
young artists.
Right.
And they were made.
What was the address?
119th and Madison. We were
God
1831
damn you
Madison
fucking
Avenue.
asshole.
Loved it. Right across from Marcus Garvey
Right.
Park.
That's where my girlfriend
my
is.
favorite place that I lived in Manhattan, and I lived in Tribeca,
Yeah.
the Upper East Side, a couple of places.
Yeah,
I
Marcus
loved-
Garvey's the best.
I loved that location. So it was great.
And you
it
could have
served us
hung
well.
on to it and fucking made millions.
We
okay.
did well selling it. 'Cause
Whatever.
But we didn't. But we also bought at the height of the market.
Right,
So we
of course.
overpaid for our place
Right.
in the burbs by a shitload.
Where is it?
Stony Point, New York.
How far is that from here?
30 miles as the crow flies, but we're not crows, and so
Right.
it takes an hour to get in usually.
Do you
An hour
take
and
the
15
train?
Minutes. Rarely, I drive. Rockland has shitty trains.
Right. So, doesn't that suck that you're
yeah.
in the burbs?
I like it. I really do.
Whatever. Okay, so you have these kids.
Yep.
When does Carrie start focusing on her career, and does that cause a fucking problem in your relationship?
She's always focused on it. She's always been in the game,
Right.
but more in the tri-state area.
Right.
And, a couple weeks a year she goes on the road and I
Right.
stay home or whatever. But she, lately, because the twins are now 16
Mm-hmm.
and the youngest is 11, and they're kind of, they're kind of autonomous people.
Right.
And they always have sleepovers at their
Right.
friend's house anyway.
Yeah.
So it's better for her to go out there now and do stuff. So she
Right.
just did that Showtime Women of a Certain Age
Right.
thing. And so, little things are...
Oh, I wasn't asked to do that Showtime Women of a Certain Age.
You weren't?
No.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
That's
thanks.
wrong.
Yeah, what the fuck is that?
I don't know what that's all about.
Is it a comedy special?
I don't know. It's just 5 women who are over 50 telling jokes. And she replaced the transvestite.
It's not transvestite.
Transsexual, sorry.
Transgender.
Okay,
Fuck,
I'm
you're
learning.
such
I'm learning.
an idiot.
I'm learning.
Okay,
it's a
yeah.
process. I thought a shiksa was a razor till 2 weeks ago.
That's
Hello,
nice.
Tom Cotter. Hit it.
Hey.
So she took over for, what is the woman's name?
Julia Scotti?
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. Julie couldn't do it. Julia
Right.
got ill or something.
Yeah, yeah.
And Carrie was the last minute fill in. But Carol Montgomery ran the whole thing, I think.
Oh, it's on Showtime?
It's going to be. Yeah, they filmed it. But she just.
Oh,
did
yeah,
that.
I
That's a
saw
little
that.
feather
She
in it.
didn't
Yeah.
put me on.
How about those Red Sox? I think.
Yeah, I
they're-
did that show before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, then maybe you've already done
Fuck
it.
her!
Okay.
Okay? Fuck you, Carol, you
Right.
fucking asshole.
Okay, there it is, everybody.
Okay. Let's get to
Let's get to it.
it.
What
What we haven't talked about yet. America's Got Talent. You
Okay,
go on.
So my mother's death wasn't depressing enough. We're not going to go to this now. Is that what we're going to do?
Unfortunately.
Okay. All right.
Your mother's death is in the part 1. We're going to have 2 episodes made
Okay.
out of this. So
I like it. Okay.
we have to have one majorly depressing thing in
Excellent.
each episode. So
The title of the show is Kill Me Now.
yeah, Kill Me
go ahead.
Now. So you go to 2007. Did you do America's Got Talent?
2012,
12.
season 7.
Oh, season 7. That's correct. Okay, so you do like what makes you like? I'm so fearful of that. First of all, as I said, I hate competitions, and second of all, you know me. I get up there and I'm whatever the fuck. I wing it a lot of the time. I talk to the and like so.
But
putting
it's always
together,
hysterical, so I don't
Thank
know why
you.
you were fearful of doing that show. but
Of putting like 5, tight minutes. Like,
not even 5. 90 seconds we had. 90 seconds on that show.
oh
That's a minute
my
and a half.
god!
Yeah.
How much did you have on Last Comic Standing?
2 minutes, I think, on Last Comic Standing. But AGT was 90 seconds. And it didn't matter if you were a juggler, a singer, a comedian. You had 90 seconds.
Fucking shit. That's
Yeah.
even harder.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go into what was the audition?
It was, every year until season 7, everybody had said, you got to do the show. It's, I'm a rapid fire one-liner kind of guy. And they say it's only 90 seconds, so you can get a lot of jokes in. You should do it. And every year I'd say no, because we watched the show. We were fans of the show.
Right.
And Pierce Morgan had a stick up his ass, and he hated comics.
He's so fucking
so
annoying.
He would eviscerate them. And I said, I'm not going to go on in front of 20 million viewers and watch
and
this
have
guy
like fucking
shit on
Pierce. I love Trump Morgan. Fucking asshole.
So I didn't want to deal with him. And then when he left and Howard Stern took his seat, now you had Sharon Osbourne, Howie Mandel. And
Sharon Osbourne's Jewish, by the way.
And now Howard Stern. So you had 3 great judges for comedy.
Right.
And then I said, I'm not getting any younger. And so I said, all right, what the hell, I'll do it. So I went and I auditioned, and it went reasonably well.
Where was the audition?
At the Javits Center.
And you'd go in a room?
Well, if you have, I got the Friars Club called on my behalf. They said, we had the guys in for lunch, the producers, and they were bitching about how they hated the comedians on the show this season. Well, do you want to go in and do it? And I said, I will, but I don't want to stand in line for 2 days. And they said, it's the last day. Go in now. You can get in and out in a couple hours, which I did. I was in and out in 3 hours, which I thought would be an all-day camp out on the sidewalk overnight thing. So I was happy about that. And then they keep you hanging because they want to,
Wait, but you walk in the room and it's Howard, Howie, and Sharon?
No, you walk in a room and it's a junior producer. It's some
fucking
guy, Jewish guy, though, Craig Brownstein from Montreal.
How old?
He was late 20s.
Oh, exactly. God. It makes me want to fucking vomit.
I know. And you got to get past him.
He's judging
decides.
you.
He's the gatekeeper. He decides whether or not you go on in front of
How did he fucking get that job?
He decided.
So you're in a room and he's behind a desk?
He's the only one sitting at a desk watching you. And so he said, after my set, he said, all right, I'm going to move you on to the executives. It's NBC executives, no celebrities.
Right.
And this time you walk in a room, there are a couple cameramen putting you on camera, and then there's this row. It's like The Last Supper. It's they're stoic, and they're staring at you.
And they're all executives.
Yeah.
So we'll just do it.
Yeah, NBC or AGT. So then they say, okay.
How many of them are there?
Probably 6. Yeah, 6 of them.
And they're just sitting there with their notepads and their...
Jason Raff, executive producer, and a bunch of other people. And so Jason comes up to me afterwards and says, look, we like you, but I can't guarantee that you're going to get in the show. We'll be in touch. And then a couple months go by.
And what do you think at that point? Like, go fuck yourself? Or...
No, I think I did the best I could in that. You know why? Because I made the cameramen laugh. The 2 cameramen were laughing.
Do you know what?
Civilians were laughing. The stoic
Let me tell you
people,
something. I have told, someone just tweeted this. Some comic asked me, how do you know you're funny? And I said, when the staff of the comedy club laughs.
Yeah. That's true. That is absolutely true.
That is the only, because they've seen everything.
But they're also, they're more... I want to impress them more than I want to impress.
Right, of course.
So anyway, they laughed, and so I figured I did the best I could under those circumstances. If they don't call me, I know that reality is never reality, and this crap is going to go away. I had already been through that nightmare of Last Comic Standing. So the phone rings later, and then they say, we want you in front of the celebrity judges. So people think when you come out in front of the celebrity judges on the show, it's your first audition. That was my 3rd audition for these people. And so that went reasonably well.
So that you went into the room in front of the celebrity judges.
I went to the Hammerstein Ballroom is where they had. But all day you're backstage. I was backstage with the Sklar brothers.
Oh, yes.
And they were on my night. And, all day. I got there at 9 in the morning. I didn't go on until 10 o'clock at night. And you're in this holding room.
It's so horrible when you're waiting around to do stand-up. It's fucking... That's why I always show up at my show like 2 seconds before I have to go on.
Well, smart. I wish I could have, but they demanded your call time was 9 a.m. And then they... everybody in the room is psycho. They're all wannabe stars. And so the cockiest people who are
the worst.
I know. They were the worst. And then the meek, quiet people on the sidelines are all the ones who moved on.
It's like when you go to audition and you're like, someone comes in, like... And someone will come in and be like, hey, how you, like they all know each other. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, just work with Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. That's how these people work.
Yeah, I hate that shit. It's like, learn your fucking audition, shut the fuck up. Okay, so...
So that goes reasonably well. I felt bad for the Sklar brothers. They got the X, and the X you can hear, it reverberates throughout the entire building, not just the
That's
ballroom.
really nice.
And
So, but when you walked in and it was Howie, Howard, and Sharon.
Yeah.
Were they nice to you?
They could not have been nicer. They were
Isn't
really,
Howard
really nice.
Stern the nicest person
They
in the
were
whole
so
world?
cool.
Yeah.
He in particular.
Yeah,
was,
he's the nicest guy.
He was really nice. Howie was great to me,
Yeah.
and Sharon wanted the dogs, later on in the season, but she was really nice to me too. So they were really, really good.
So you walk in, you killed.
Went pretty well.
Okay, you leave.
Yeah.
Then what?
They say you're going to Vegas. They already tell you you're going to Vegas,
Right.
which is the next round. And so
Who do you call first?
Well, my wife's already there, so I'm talking to her. Tony Burton was my agent at the time, and he was there. So those two knew right away. And then later on, I called my family. They made you call because they want a camera in your face while you're calling your family. So I do all that.
Who'd you call? Your father?
I called my sister, who was supposed to come down and be at the thing, but she couldn't make it.
Because your father would have been like, what?
Yeah, my father would.
I haven't heard of that. All right, so go ahead.
So then we're off to the races, and then we go to Vegas.
How soon after do you go to Vegas?
2 weeks. About 2 weeks later, you go to Vegas.
And are you like, oh, this is so exciting, or?
I'm into it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's kind of, you're along for the ride.
Right.
But they're hurting you like cattle, and they don't want to invest in a relationship with you then because they know that most of you are going to get thinned.
Right.
They're going to get rid of you. So they're really curt and condescending and unpleasant to you.
Okay.
And so you suck that up. And then there were 7 comics that made it to Vegas, and they liked the storyline of the oldest comic and the youngest comic moving on. So they got rid of the 5, and they kept the oldest and the youngest.
So
I
who
was
were
the one with the longest, the long in the tooth. I was the old.
Okay, so who were the comics?
Oh God, I honestly I don't even.
Who was the youngest?
Jason Williams was the guy. He was the youngest. He was only like 19 years old at the time, like you were when you started.
Yes.
And then there was me. So they liked that concept of the old and the young coming out of it. And then after Vegas, you go to live shows. Then it's live.
So it's that night in Vegas. It wasn't all comics. It was everyone, right?
Yeah. Oh, everybody that had moved on to Vegas. Yeah.
Okay, so you know after that night that you're moving on, or
they do the big thing where they come out on stage and they say, "I've got some bad news for you. You have to cancel your plans because you're going to New York."
Yeah,
and,
don't you fucking hate that shit?
It's all
Did
crap.
you think you?
And they say to you, "We want a big reaction, whether it's happy or sad. We want a big reaction from you."
I did Celebrity Wife Swap.
It's
it was
all-
it's all fake. All right,
terrific.
so did Jason Williams, is that his name?
Yeah, he moved on and I moved on. We were the two that emerged from Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you go to New York.
Yeah.
How many weeks later?
We were in New York because they moved the whole show to New York for Howard Stern because every year before and since it's been in L.A. So yeah, I was the only contestant in the finals that got to sleep in my own bed at night. They were all transplants from everywhere else. So that was fun. That was a great ride, great summer, a lot of fun.
You went. How many shows did you do? You were the semifinalist, the runner-up.
Yeah, runner-up. So we went all the way to the end, and then...
And the dog wins.
The dogs, plural, 23 dogs. Yeah. So, yes.
And so they tell you, like every time you're up there, every time you go on the show, and you're waiting to find out, like...
What the audience...
When you're standing there.
Votes
Yeah. Are you freaking out? Do
Yes.
you not care? Do you care? Like,
I'm now into this. I've lost 15 pounds. I have acne and diarrhea.
Right.
It's in my head. It's all I'm thinking about. I just don't want to look like an ass in front of, because it's not just 20 million people watching you. It's your dad, your brothers and sisters, your friends from high school, your wife's family, your children are now watching. So it was very intense, and I never expected to make it even to the quarterfinals.
Right.
So this was all just a great little ride at the end. And so, yeah, I lose to the dog act at the end because America screws up voting.
Did you think you felt like Hillary Clinton?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you lose, sorry,
I do.
to a dog act.
Yeah, but I was the top human finisher that season. Yeah. So that I
And it's all because of Sharon Osbourne?
She really liked it. Well, it's America. America votes. And America voted for the dogs. And that was it.
All right.
Yeah, that's the way it is. The Sand Artist would have won. I will tell you a little inside thing. The Sand Artist had this great story about 9/11, and we filmed our final episode on September 12th in New York.
Right.
And he had this great story about the trade centers coming down and the sand art to Proud to Be an American, I think was the soundtrack. And that would have slayed in New York, but they wouldn't let him do it. They lied to him and said we couldn't get the rights to the song, which he found out later was crap.
Why wouldn't they let him do it?
Because I think they just,
Because of the topic?
I guess. Yeah, they were too uptight about it.
Right.
But I think he would have won.
Okay. So what happens from that? So you're standing there, you find out the dog wins. Do you shit in your pants, or are you like, what's going on?
During the commercial breaks, they have a million commercial breaks leading up to it because they're whores and they want to sell stuff. And you're standing there the whole time.
Yeah,
sweating.
I know. I did Chopped, Celebrity Chopped, and Chopped All Stars, whatever. And it's like you stand there forever.
Bullshit drama. Yeah. So I'm in my head saying, if you lose gracefully, and if you win, don't look like a jackass. That's all that's going in my head.
Right.
And so I lose, and I'm pretty gracious, I think. I didn't say, I made one joke. I said, I'm going to fall down the stairs. Nick Cannon is the host. And he says, what are you going to do now? And I said, I'm going to fall down these stairs, sue this place, and I'm going to get my own $1 million. And that was the only joke. But the confetti was falling, and you know, not everyone heard it. But and then I said, congratulations to the Elate dogs. It really is a good story. They're American dream. They come as immigrants, and they win the whole thing. So, and then all of a sudden you're flavor of the month because, you know, this is the biggest show, you know,
ever.
It's prime time and all that stuff. But you can't capitalize on it. You have to go right to Vegas and do the AGT live show because you signed something early on saying in the unlikely event that you make the finals, we own you. And they did own me. And so I went for 4 months and did Vegas for not a lot of money, but a lot less than we were being offered at the time. You're never going to get offered the money you get offered after that. And we had to turn down a lot of it because we had to, you know,
did you, like months later, did you get more club
we started,
gig?
Yeah. So, and we snuck out. We had one dark night a week, and I would fly out the night before on a red eye and go bang out whatever corporate I could on that one night off and then come back. And so...
How long did you do that for? 4 months?
2 months in the fall and 2 months in the spring.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Without
and nobody
family.
wanted to be there. They were all bitter. The dogs were the only ones happy to be there. Everybody else
Let me
was
tell you
pissed
something.
off.
Vegas, like, it's so depressing to perform in Vegas.
For 4 months.
Forget it. I kill myself.
You see the dark underbelly of Vegas
that
when
is
you're
kill
there that
me
long.
now.
It's not on the street. Yeah, exactly. It is.
All right, time goes on. Your life goes back to normal. How did you get asked back to do this?
I went back the next year for season 8 for just as a returning guest, and then I hosted the Snapple viewing party or whatever, and so I was still in good standing with them. They were great, and then when they decided to do Champions, which was this year, they said it was, you know, going to be a celebration of all the Got Talent. So it's Britain's Got Talent, France's Got Talent, Germany's, Russia, everybody. And we're going to, you know, it's going to be a celebration of 13 years of America's Got Talent and all the other Got Talents. Do you want to be a part of it? And I said, hell yeah, I want to be a part of it. So we filmed it in September. And for 5 months, I sat on that nauseating night. And it just aired 2 weeks ago.
So you couldn't talk about it.
No.
For this last one, it's only one night.
Unless you move on to the finals, you're one and done. They take 2 a night. One is a golden buzzer. One of the 4 judges. There's 5 nights, 4 judges and a host. Each gets a golden buzzer. So that's how they influence it. And the rest of it is what they call super fans, which are fans that are literally in the basement of the Pasadena Civic Auditorium where we filmed the show, watching live on a screen. And they're the ones voting. And they allegedly represent every state because
they're like a jury of your peers.
Yeah, they're all California residents, but they, you know, have an uncle from Kentucky.
So that's very fair.
Yeah. So they vote one person through, and then the golden buzzer gets voted through.
Okay,
so my night, Paul Potts, who won Britain's Got Talent, was the one that the super fans voted through, and the golden buzzer was a girl named Angelica Hale, who's great. She got the golden buzzer her season. Little singer, unbelievable,
what the
talented.
fuck? The golden buzzer means you can't.
Means you automatically go through to the finals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how many people were on that night?
12, I believe. So you have a 2 out of 12 chance. So I knew I wasn't going to make the finals, but I certainly didn't know that the arrogant, pompous prick was going to X me.
Now, you never had worked with him before?
Never.
Did you see his face during you're up there, you're doing it?
No, I'm not paying attention to him. I'm making eye contact with everybody.
And are
in the
you
audience.
thinking, I'm killing?
I'm thinking
because you were killing.
It's going
You were killing.
reasonably well.
Yeah.
That was my fear, Judy, was that we filmed it in September, and he's the creator of the show. So I thought, he gave me an X. I was the only X of the night. They're going to make him look good and make me look like a jackass. But the week before, the Wednesday before it aired, Jason Raff, the executive producer, called me and said, look, we're not throwing you under the bus. We're going to show it the way it happened. And the way it happened was he gave me an X, and everybody was flabbergasted. And then they booed him. The audience booed him.
Yes, I noticed that. You got a standing ovation.
They cut out a lot of the booing, though, and they cut out a lot of the judges shitting all over Simon because he gave me the X. They put some of it in, which I was happy about. Right. But he said, for time, we can't show everything that happened. We're going to make sure that you look.
You got to get the footage.
I don't know if they wouldn't let us have any of the footage from season 7, so we're trying. But
you got to get that footage.
I would love it. But anyway, he said it was ordinary. He said my act was ordinary that night. And then,
here's the thing. I'm watching him, and you watched it too.
Yeah.
He's making to me, it looked like he was so jealous that he could never do this. You know what I mean? Like, that was the thing I got off of his face. Like, oh, I'll never be able to do this because I'm not smart enough. And, I know nothing about comedy because I'm a miserable fuck. And, I swear to God, it looked like raging envy in his face with his stupid fucking smirk. And it was ridiculous. And the audience fucking loved you.
Well, he did not. And he had the X that he was able to press. And
he's a fuck.
But I thought, Terry Crews was kind of, he's the new host, was on my side, and I thought they were going to cut out his comments, but they didn't, and they were going to cut out, Mel B and Heidi and Howie's comments, which they did cut them down, but they didn't, and they cut my set down dramatically, too.
What did Howie say?
Howie was very kind to me beforehand, before I even started, and then afterwards.
Yeah,
he was
what
very
did he say after?
He said, I couldn't disagree more, which is what Heidi said with Simon. He said... slick. He said, "You're a slick comic. You've been around for a long time. You're great." He was just really nice to me. He was nice to me all season 7 too. He was really, really good to me, and season 8 when I came back.
Did anyone come up to you after and say Simon's a fucking piece of shit?
A lot of people did, and a lot of people had their own hypotheses for why he did that.
What were some of the hypotheses?
One was because it was a last-minute decision. First of all, they told me I was going to have 2 trained dogs. It was their idea to come out with 2 trained dogs because I lost to a dog act, and that was the backstory they were doing on me. And so we were going to have peanut butter behind my ears and 2 little dogs licking my ears as I came out. And they were going to do one little trick and then run off to their handlers. Right. And the day before, they said, we can't afford it. It's $4,000 for the trained dogs, and we're not going to pay it. Which...
Yeah, they can't afford it.
The time, I was like, oh, that's unfortunate.
How much is Simon getting for that? Yeah.
Well, no, every other act had a full orchestra, a band, models, dancers, everybody else, and you're going to...
You can't afford it,
have the 2, but I was all right with that. Anyway, they gave me one of the stage hands, literally a key grip, had a mutt, and they said, do you want to... And I said, I'll still do the dog gag if you guys want, but I got to use this dog, and the dog was terrified at rehearsal. And so... when I came out with the dog, I decided at the last minute, literally at the last minute, to name the dog Simon Growl. That's what I said. Right. And some people thought that pissed him off. Some people think when I mentioned that I said I love animals, they're delicious, and he's an animal lover, and that might have pissed him off. But most people think it's because Stern liked me, and he has not moved down anyone in the competition that wasn't one. He wasn't a judge for. Right. So Taylor Williamson was the other comic, and he didn't X him, but he was very unkind to him with his comments, and he was unkind to me, and he was unkind to other acts that weren't on when he was on the show. The only people he's been not nice to were people who were under the Stern or previous regimes. So that's another idea. It may have been that he just thought I was ordinary and I sucked, which is fine. He's allowed. He's allowed to have that opinion.
I hate people. This pisses me. This will kill me now. People who are fucking prick asshole, fuckhead, nasty. Cocksuckers who love animals. Like, I hate people like that. They're fucking assholes in life, and they're animal advocates.
Yeah, and he's not. He impregnated his best friend's girlfriend.
Right. Yeah. He's a fucking asshole.
But
Can't wait to
he
do the
created
show.
the show.
Yeah.
And the show was the best thing that ever happened in my career. So I can't lose perspective of that.
Right.
But when they got us on the phone for countless conference calls before we did this thing, they kept saying it's going to be a love fest. And the first set I submitted to them had a Trump impression and an ISIS joke in it. And they said, no. What if Trump gets impeached? What if there's an ISIS attack? So they wouldn't let me do that set. And I said, those are two of my best bits right now. I'm closing with those.
Right.
Can I do those? No, you can't do it. They didn't even run it past NBC standard of practices. They said I couldn't do it.
Yeah, because they're afraid.
So I chose the other set. I come out and, Trump hasn't been impeached, and there wasn't an ISIS attack, which I would have loved to have done. But I did the second set, and they kept saying to me, "Don't worry about whatever material you do. It's a love fest. It's going to be a celebration.
Right.
It's going to be love." And so the X was just, "Are you shitting me?
Right.
Really?"
So when
Seriously?
you heard it, were you like, "Oh fucking shit"?
Reverberated through my body
Right.
like I had never been that
You
close to it.
were so classy.
Oh, I was just inside. I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" And yeah, because I knew how many people were going to.
And then you had to go home and sit on that. Did you tell
for 5
anyone?
months. Oh yeah, I told everybody. I told all my friends and my
Right.
family. I said, don't expect a lot when this is
Right.
on. It's going to be a train wreck. And to their credit, they left a lot in that I thought they were going to cut out.
So
the whole
you're
time I
happy
was
with
like,
the editing.
They're going to eviscerate me. They're going to
Right.
make me look like. Because I don't know if you remember in
What
Last Comic
anxiety?
Standing,
Yeah.
they put the sound of crickets behind a couple
Oh,
of
I
comics.
know. It was so fucking.
Clearly
and,
there were no
and
crickets in the comedy club.
comics. Yeah, and comics are judging. No. You
Yeah.
should be applauded for the way you behaved.
Well, you're very kind.
You're
but it
very
was-
classy, and you're happy with the way they edited it.
I
mean,
was
you would've-
expecting the worst and hoping for the best. I would have loved for them to put in a few more of my lines,
Right.
Of my act. I would have loved for them to put more of the boo. The booing went on for 30
Right.
seconds. They showed about 5
Right.
seconds of it. And then Mel B had a very funny reply to Simon saying basically, you're not listening, you're not
Right.
watching, you're not tuned in tonight.
Right.
They didn't put that in. And then Howie had another nice comment saying, that Simon was completely out of bounds. But I'm okay with the way they edited it.
All right.
Could have been better, could have been a lot worse.
And is it helping you?
It's done all right, actually. It's,
Good.
I expected people to call me up and say we're canceling Tom
No,
for this
no,
week
no.
or whatever. And
Good for you.
It's
Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
well, it could have been a better outcome.
Fuck you, Simon. Before we end,
Yeah.
because I have to go do this fucking.
I know. You got
I always ask my guests 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know the answer to the first. I'm very pro mental health because I have terrible anxiety. Do you have any mental health issues?
not diagnosed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. But I think all
Yeah.
comics.
Oh, we're fucking
Tears of a
mental.
Clown. We're all fucked
Yeah.
up.
So clinical depression, anxiety. I have terrible ADD. It's just horrible. I'm on a lot of meds. So we always ask if you've ever been on medication, mental health medication.
I had ADD when I was a kid before
Right.
it was diagnosed as ADD. We were called hyper.
Yeah,
and
that's what my mother. Judith, you're so goddamn hyper.
that's exactly what I was.
Yeah.
So I started smoking pot because I had 5
Same.
older siblings
Same.
early.
Yeah.
And that's been my go-to
Good.
for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more thrilled that it's legal in
I
many
know.
states now, and I'm a big proponent of that.
Same. I've
so-
been self-medicating for years, but
As
now I
I
have to.
Yeah, but I don't drink a lot. My mom
Yeah.
was an alcoholic,
Yeah,
and
so that's good.
and I, you know what? In high school, I could fake being sober when I was high.
Right.
I could not do it when I was drunk. When I was
Right.
drunk, I'd slur or I'd
Right.
stumble.
Yeah, you
or
could
I'd
snap out
smell,
of it. Plus, when we were in high school, the pot was not the way it is now.
It wasn't, and I
Yeah.
had Visine and gum with me all the
Yeah,
time, and no
same.
one knew when I was high.
Right.
But they did when I was drinking, and I liked that control thing, and
Right.
so it's always been my go-to. So
Same.
instead of Xanax or
Right.
Prozac, that's my
Excellent.
my go-to.
Excellent. The last and final question is, we are called Kill Me Now. What pisses you off more than anything in the entire fucking world, like makes you crazy? And it could be anything. It could be like a pothole. It could be like an asshole on their phone. Like I always use this example, which I shouldn't, but I hate when people are on their fucking phones and walking up the stairs of the subway, like really slow, when I have fucking a place to go. All right. So what really pisses you off?
Well, a lot of things do. Most recently, of course, Simon giving me an X when
fuck
I was
him.
blindsided by that.
Right.
And I felt like I was...
he looked like such an asshole.
I felt like I've been really good to that show. I did the Dog and Pony show when I didn't have to. I could have bailed. And I've always been a team player for them. So I really felt like betrayed by that. So that's the most recent thing. But in life, what pisses me off, this is going to be stupid, but I hate religious extremism in any religion, but specifically, unfortunately, the one that's most violent now is Islamic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be politically incorrect about that, but right now, that seems to be. I just don't know why anyone's religion allows you to. Female circumcision, kill people, not allow women to go to school.
Yeah, the females, I know.
And just obviously the
law,
unbelievable suicide bombings and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't get it. And Letterman said that after 9/11. He said, if you live to be 1,000, will you ever understand this? And to this day, I don't.
Right.
And I just, but I know there are Christians that are, blowing up abortion clinics and stuff. So I'm not singling out. I'm just saying that any religious extremism that causes death or things that are supposed to be against religion is just the ultimate hypocrisy, and I can't stand it.
I agree with you. I mean, religion for me, I'm a Jew, but it's about community. It's about making the world a better place. It's about tradition. And that's it.
Yeah.
And knowing what to do, like in death and in birth, and in, just having these customs.
Yes.
What the? I can't, even the evangelicals who let fucking Trump get away with being a fucking piece of shit, hypocrite, misogynist, liar, I just, it's,
Yeah. So this goes back to, if you're going to do the Christian thing, this goes back to Jim Jones and all the other.
Exactly.
I mean, just horrible behavior under the guise of being a devout.
And it's a lazy way
person.
to live. It's a lazy way because, it tells you, oh, this is how I'm supposed to behave. This is how I'm supposed to react. This is, instead of just having your own fucking thoughts.
Yeah. And so when
what about the Catholic priests? Now they're uncovering the nuns.
And I grew up in all that, and so
Did you ever get molested?
No, I didn't. No.
Do you feel upset about that?
Yeah, Tom Herrera does that funny bit. Yeah, I have just horrible memories of my childhood, and there were some inappropriate things that happened, but nothing to that extreme. And it obviously, my gaydar goes off with my own parish priest now. I mean, I know these guys are. You're not being. Celibate, whether you're a heterosexual or a homosexual, it doesn't matter. You're not being celibate, and that's you took a vow, an oath of celibacy, and
which I find
to involve little girls and little boys in that is just satanic. Sick. It's not even. I mean, that's the opposite.
I find
religion.
the celibacy thing ridiculous.
So do
because they also counsel married people. It's like you don't. I don't know.
That's yeah. When Carrie and I got married, pre-Cana, we had to go in and have a guy who's never been
married.
in a relationship tell me how to be a good married guy.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
It's hypocrisy.
Tom, I can't thank you enough for this.
Yes, you can.
Yes,
but,
I can.
You can. You can.
Thank you.
I'm
You are
thrilled.
a
Thank you for
fucking joy, delight. I hate Simon.
Thank you.
I only wish you and your 3 sons and your wife
and your 2
the
boys,
best.
Right?
Yes, I have 2 boys.
Yeah.
And I just wish you the success because you're fucking great. You're just a fucking great guy.
Always been a huge fan of Judy Gold.
Stop.
Always will be.
Thank you.
And everyone should tune in and go see her live whenever she's in your area.
Thank you. Oh, Tom.
Money in the bank.
Tom, where do people find you on social media?
Grindr and no.
Yeah.
Tom Cotter. Really? That's
I don't know. I just felt like
Tom Cotter Comic is my Instagram and Twitter, and I'm easy to find on Facebook.
Right.
And my website is tomcotter.com.
I hate social media.
I know it's horrible.
Tom, I can't. Again, thank you.
It was an honor to soil your
the best for
airwaves
you.
with my crap. Thank you.
We loved it, and as we always say, so long.
And everything was wonderful. I'll see you soon. Thank you for the visit. So long.